My name is Mark. I am 61 years old. I never thought I'd say this, but I died and met Jesus. And what he revealed to me about a respected thought leader's fate and how I had been living, it broke me. It made everything different. I died in my recliner on January 14, 2025. Stroke. Sudden. Quiet. But I need to tell you what happened after that. I worked in a tire factory in Dayton, Ohio, for almost 40 years. Work hard. Work that is honest. I became mad instead. Not at ease. Feeling empty in a way I didn't know how to repair. I would sit on my recliner with my phone and watch news clips, YouTube debates, and live streaming. Politics, commentary, more politics. Diane, my wife, used to stroll by me and sigh. She'd say, "You're always watching that stuff." And I'd grumble and turn up the volume. I didn't want to listen to her. I didn't want to hear much of anything, not even God. I used to believe in God. I taught Sunday school while I was in my 40s. Every Sunday morning, I sat next to my mom in church and sang, "It is well with my soul." But when my younger brother died from an opioid overdose, something shattered inside me. It seemed like shouting into a void when I prayed. And then the factory shut down. In a flash, a lifetime of work was replaced with vacant buildings and a "for lease" sign. So I looked for significance in a different place, for guidance. I found Charlie Kirk, or maybe he saw me. That guy had a lot of heat. He talked with confidence. He named the opponent and pointed out what was wrong. He made me feel like I wasn't crazy for being angry. It felt like someone finally got it. I started quoting him more than I quoted the Bible. My daughter Anna, who left the church a long time ago, despised those talks. She once said to me, "Dad, you care more about your podcasts than your people." I yelled back, "Charlie tells the truth. He sees what's going on in our country." After that, she didn't come over very often. Most nights, I'd lie in bed with my eyes open and my heart racing. I wasn't at peace, but I assured myself I was doing the right thing. I didn't even tell myself that I was exhausted, tired of being afraid, sick of feeling like you can't do anything. I'm tired of a God who seems far away and a world I don't know anymore. And deep down, under the rage, the scrolling and the yelling, I missed the Jesus I used to know. The Jesus who spoke softly in silence. The person who helped me while I was broken. But I had buried him under hashtags and headlines. I didn't realize how lost I was until that frigid night in January. I remember it well. The screen in my palm was glowing, and there was a debate going on about saving America through politics. Then my chest felt tight, dark, quiet. And then there was light. Not just a light. It was living, and in that light, someone was waiting for me. The pain hit me like a locomotive. It felt like someone was crushing my chest with their bare hands. I tried to call Diane, but nothing came out. My phone slid out of my hands and fell to the ground. I was afraid. Very afraid. My heart was beating fast, but then it wasn't beating at all. There was no sound. Too quiet. Then I felt like I was floating. I know how that sounds, but I was looking down at my own body slumped on that ancient chair. Diane came into the room and yelled my name. I wanted to tell her I was right there, but I couldn't. The fear began to go away. It's hard to convey, but picture the worst headache you've ever had going away in an instant. The stiffness in my back and the discomfort in my joints from working in a factory for 40 years are all gone. I felt like I was lighter than I had been in years. I was going up, but not like I was flying in an airplane. It's more like being tugged by hands that you can't see. I was in this amazing room with the most gorgeous light I've ever seen when the walls of our little abode disappeared. These lights weren't the harsh fluorescent lights that were in the factory. This was warm and alive, like being surrounded in affection. I could feel it on my skin, and in my chest, filling up all the empty spaces inside me that I didn't even know were there. And then I saw him. I could tell it was Jesus when he walked toward me. His eyes held everything, anguish and happiness, strength and softness all at the same moment. I sank to my knees without even thinking about it. "Lord," I said it quietly. I started bawling like a baby as soon as he glanced at me. Not the angry, frustrated tears I'd cried over disagreements and politics. These were not the same. It seemed like all the walls I'd put up around my heart fell down. I felt fully safe for the first time in years. Maybe perhaps my whole life. You know how it feels when your mom cuddles you after a bad dream when you're a kid? It was like that, but 1,000 times worse. I didn't have to justify myself, defend my choices, or prove that I was right about anything. He knew everything there was to know about me. I was ashamed of the broken portions and had forgotten the nice bits. And nevertheless, against all odds, he liked it all. He cared for me. I tried to talk and say sorry for messing everything up, but Jesus just smiled and held out his hand. When Jesus touched my hand, I felt a warmth that went deeper than my skin and bones. It touched parts of my spirit that I didn't even realize were there. We were sitting together on what appeared like a green hill, but the grass gleamed like it was made of light. "Mark," he whispered, and hearing my name from his lips made me want to cry again. His voice was soft, like my dad's voice when I was sick as a child. "Tell me more about Charlie Kirk." My stomach sank. That wasn't one of the things I thought he would ask about. "Lord, I believed he was fighting for you, for the church, for the truth." Jesus nodded, but his eyes were full of sadness. "Mark, show me how his words made you feel." It seemed like I was seeing a movie about myself from the last few years. I was up late at night, browsing through my phone and growing more and more angry with each video. I was debating with Anna about politics, when all she wanted to do was tell me about her new job. There I was, yelling at Diane for telling me to go to bed. I felt important, I said, like I was part of something bigger. I felt like I knew what was truly going on when other folks didn't. And how did that importance feel in your heart, my child? I truly thought about it. "Empty," I said quietly. It felt empty. And mad, always so mad. Jesus leaned forward, and his eyes were full of love. "Mark, do you want to see what I see when I look at Charlie Kirk?" I nodded, even though I was a little terrified. The scene changed, and I saw Charlie Kirk, but he wasn't the self-assured man I had seen on stage. I saw him as a young boy, maybe 8 years old, sitting alone in his room while his parents fought below. I could see the horror in his eyes as he covered his ears and vowed himself he would never feel weak again. "Every soul starts out as a child looking for love," Jesus said in a calm voice. "Mark, Charlie was harmed. Wounds that were too deep to heal properly. Then I saw more. Charlie as a teenager who was yearning to be seen and heard. I witnessed him learn that anger got people to pay attention, that controversy brought people together, and that fear kept people listening. But Lord," I continued, "he talks about you, about Christian morals." Jesus' face became more softer but also very sad. "Mark, pay attention to how his heart changes when he talks." I saw Charlie on stage with thousands of people cheering. But instead of happiness or calm, I saw something sinister that was eating the applause. His pride grew like a malignancy. Every cheer and amen from the crowd filled a hole in him that was hungry and empty. Jesus answered, "He speaks my name, but he has made himself his own God. He fills his hurt child's heart with love, strength, and the idea that he is right. He leads my children away from me when he does this. Not with you, but he says he's fighting for America as a Christian, Mark, my kingdom is not of this world. People who say that political power will save the church have forgotten that I already did. If someone teaches you to be afraid of your neighbors, they have forgotten that I told you to love them. I saw the situation change and noticed the folks who were following Charlie Kirk. They looked like me, hungry for a reason to live, indignant at being ignored, and desperate to matter. They weren't full of love and peace. They were full of anger and division. "I see families torn apart," Jesus said, his voice breaking with sadness. "Fathers and daughters who can't talk without getting into a fight. Churches are split in half. People who spew hate while carrying my name." I thought of Anna and our last talk, and how I had chosen to be right over loving my daughter. I cried a lot. But it's not just Charlie, is it? Me too. Oh, my dear child. When Jesus brought me near, I felt like the scared little child I was when my dad lost his job at the steel factory. "Mark, you were hungry. Someone gave you food that looked good, but was actually poison. Your spirit was starving. Why didn't you stop me?" "Because I gave you the best gift of all, the power to choose. I'm always calling you home, even when you choose pain or the wrong route. I was calling you via Diane's anxious expressions. I was phoning you through Anna's crying. I was calling you through the emptiness you felt at 3 a.m. The reality hit me like a soft wave. I stopped paying attention to you. But I never stopped talking, Mark. I talk to you when things are quiet, when I do something kind for you, when I forgive you, and when I love you even though it costs me anything." Charlie Kirk's voice is loud because angry people hurt others. It feels strong when you're weak, but my voice is soft because real strength doesn't need to yell. I saw a vision of America, but it wasn't the political battleground I had been thinking about. After storms, I saw neighbors assisting each other. I witnessed churches giving food to those who were hungry, no matter how they voted. I witnessed young folks giving up their weekends to see lonely old people. I observed small acts of compassion happening all the time. This is my America, Mark. Not the one on TV or in the heated remarks. In acts of love, this is where my kingdom dwells. But what about Kirk Charlie? What happens to him? For a long time, Jesus didn't say anything, and I could feel how sad he was. Unless he changes his mind, he will find that all the praise, power, and influence will fall apart like sand. He will have to live with the fact that he fed his ego instead of his soul. He gathered disciples but lost his way to me. His life will soon be torn apart. That's scary, Lord. It is. And Mark, the thing that hurts me the most is that he's not alone. Millions of my children have given up their faith in me and put their faith in political leaders instead. They think they're helping me, but they're really helping their own anxieties and fury. I could feel how heavy and sad it was. They're just like I was. Yes. Children who are lost and assume they are on their way home, but they are actually going deeper into the woods. Jesus helped me get up and stand up. This is why I need you to go back, Mark. Go back? My heart raced. God, I don't want to abandon you. I've never felt this loved or at ease before. Please don't make me go back to that broken world. I know, my child. I know how safe and beautiful it is here. But what about Anna? Think about all the other Annas whose dads have lost their path. Think about the Dianes whose husbands get angry and scared and leave. I heard my daughter say over the phone, "Dad, you've changed. You are not the man who told me about Jesus' love." They need to hear this, Mark. Not from someone who is perfect, but from someone who went lost and then found their way home. They need to understand that no political leader can save their souls. I can only do that. But Lord, I don't know how to fix all the harm I've done. Begin with Anna. Begin with Diane. First, you need to accept that you were incorrect. Choose love over being right first. Show them that my love is larger than politics. I could see it then. Going home, sitting down with my daughter, and saying I was sorry. So sorry. Not making excuses or attempting to win one more debate, just loving her. What about all the people who follow Charlie Kirk and people like him? What about the people who are where I was? Mark, tell them your story. You tell them that you met me, and that I showed you that no earthly leader, whether they are conservative or liberal, can give you what I can. You tell them that I love them too much to allow them to construct their faith on shaky ground. What if they don't pay attention? Some won't. Some people will say you're weak, fooled, or worse, but some people will hear the warmth in your voice and remember who I am. Some people will recall that I came to help those who were sad, not to win political fights. I could barely stand because of how much love Jesus had for me. Lord, I don't want to go. I don't want to get away from you. Mark, I'm constantly with you. I'm there when you choose love above wrath. I'm there when you let go of grudges and forgive. I'll be there when you put others' needs ahead of your own need to be right. He put both of his hands on my shoulders. And keep this in mind. Charlie Kirk's fate doesn't last forever. If he changes his mind, truly repents, and utilizes his power to bring people together instead of tear them apart, I will welcome him home. I love him just as much as I love you. How do I tell people all of this, Lord? Tell them I didn't come here to start a political party. I came to start love. Tell them that my kingdom is based on mercy, not anger. Tell them that they may serve me by loving all of their neighbors, not by beating them. I knew it was time. I could feel myself being pulled back to earth, to my broken body and to my tangled life. But now I wasn't going back with nothing. I was carrying the most crucial message of my life. As his form started to fade, Jesus murmured to Mark, "Remember, perfect love casts out fear. When my kids choose fear above love, they don't remember who I am. The shock of slamming back into my body was like hitting concrete. The pain, the weight, the struggle to breathe, it all came rushing back. But something was different. Even as the doctors worked around me, even as Diane sobbed and held my hand, I carried this incredible peace inside me, a certainty that what God says is true. I had grieved leaving Jesus' presence, that perfect love, that complete safety. Nothing on earth could compare. But I also felt a burning determination to do what he'd asked me to do, to live out his truth, to love others above all else, no matter how divided the world became. The assassination had shaken me, not just the violence, but how it fueled the rage I used to feed on. God's words cut through that noise. My kingdom is built on love, not anger. The first thing I did when I got out of the hospital was call Anna. My hands were shaking as I dialed her number. "Dad?" she answered, surprised. "Honey," I said, my voice cracking. "I need to tell you something. I was wrong. About everything. About choosing politics over you. About letting anger drown out love. I believe what God says now. His truth is bigger than all this chaos. I'm sorry." She was quiet for a long time. Then she started crying. "Dad, I've missed you so much." That conversation lasted 3 hours. For the first time in years, I listened more than I talked. I heard about her job, her dreams, her struggles. I remembered what it felt like to be her father, instead of her debate opponent. A few days ago, when the news of Charlie Kirk's assassination was still fresh, the world was buzzing with anger and fear. I felt God's voice clearer than ever. His kingdom is not of this world. I had thrown away all my political books and merchandise, not because politics don't matter, but because I'd made them more important than people. The news of Charlie Kirk's death kept playing on the TV, pundits shouting, blaming, dividing. But I turned it off. Diane found me one morning reading my Bible instead of scrolling on my phone. She just smiled and brought me coffee. Now when I see political arguments on social media, I think of God's truth. His kingdom is built on love, not vengeance or fear. I've started reaching out to neighbors I used to avoid because they voted differently. Miss Patterson next door needed her snow shoveled, and I helped her without once asking about her politics. I've been sharing my story at church and in my community. Some people think I'm crazy, but others, especially fathers who've lost touch with their kids, they listen with tears in their eyes. They recognize the emptiness I used to feel, especially now, with the world reeling from Kirk's assassination and the anger it stirred. I tell them what God told me. No political leader can save your soul. Only He can do that. His love is so much bigger than our divisions, and His truth stands firm no matter what happens. The other night, Anna brought her boyfriend over for dinner. The old me would have grilled him about his beliefs, especially in the wake of the assassination. Instead, I asked about his family, his interests. What made him happy? I watched my daughter's face light up because her dad was acting like the man who used to teach her about God's love. Maybe you're watching this, and you recognize yourself in my story. Maybe you've let fear and anger, especially now, with the world so shaken, crowd out love in your life. Maybe you've chosen being right over being close to the people who matter most. God is calling you home, too. His truth is real, His love is unchanging, and He loves you exactly as you are. But He loves you too much to leave you there. His kingdom isn't built on winning arguments or avenging losses. It's built on winning hearts through love. That scared, angry man in the recliner feels like a stranger to me now. Not because life is perfect, but because I believe what God says is true. I am His beloved child, called to love others the way He loves me, even in a world broken by violence and division.